How much do MBA graduates earn after completing their degree? That's exactly what I'm going to address in today's video. Hi everyone, my name is Soumi. I'm an IIT Delhi and ISB Hyderabad graduate, and I've been working for about 10 years now in management consulting and banking. On this channel, I share my experiences, learnings, mistakes, more or less about my journey so that it can help some of you in your respective journeys as well. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Okay, so a few months back, we had shared two videos on this channel. One was an IIM Bangalore placement experience and one was my ISB placement experience. And comment section में सबसे ज़्यादा common जो question था, which was what was your salary, right? And I could share my salary, but I don't think that will be the right picture because we did graduate about 5-7 years back, right? So in this video, I'm going to give you a more latest picture, the latest numbers of how much the MBA graduates from some of the tier 1 institutes earn right after their degree. Firstly, let me clarify a few things. Number one is all the numbers are going to be averages based on, say, last 2 to 3 years. Secondly, these are all numbers based on tier 1 colleges. Even within tier 1 colleges, the salary levels sometimes vary, which is why these are like average indicative kind of numbers. And lastly, to come up with these numbers, what I've done is I have number one gone through the websites. कई colleges अपनी data publish करती है, so I have gone through those data points. Plus, I have talked to a few of the recent graduates from IIM and ISB as well to get a good idea of what these numbers in a ballpark range should look like. Now, I do need to clarify that salaries offered in a specific year varies quite a bit year on year, and it depends on a lot of factors, right? It depends on how well the economy was that specific year. It depends on at what level they are hiring at. It also depends on general sentiment of the company, how badly they're looking to hire someone, etc. But having said that, this video is going to give you a very good idea directionally how much amount these guys earn, and if you are aiming for one of these colleges, how much you can expect to earn. All the numbers are going to be in lakhs per annum or LPA, which means if I say 10 LPA, it means 10 lakhs in a year. So on a monthly basis, it's going to be 10 by 12. So you can do your calculations. I am also going to share the fixed component and the variable component so that you get a better idea, right? Fixed component is something that you are definitely getting in your hand, while variable component में काफी variability होती है. Sometimes you may get 50%, sometimes you may get 20%. So there's a lot of variability. So let's get started. I have my notes on my iPad, and firstly, let's get started with consulting because obviously that's my playing field. Now, within consulting as well, the tier 1 consulting companies pay slightly higher than the tier 2 consulting companies. So tier 1 are the likes of FDB, which means McKinsey, BCG, Bain, and then tier 2 are the likes of, say, A.T. Kearney, Big Four, Accenture, etc. So tier 1 companies would pay you a fixed component of about 25 to 27 lakhs per annum. That's the fixed component, and the total comp can go up to as high as 27 to 34 lakhs per annum. Within MBBs now, usually McKinsey is the most conservative when it comes to salary. Somehow they have such a strong branding that even then people just die to go for McKinsey. But anyway, McKinsey is not a very good salary payer as such. BCG usually already provides the highest within MBB. Then there's Bain, and then there's McKinsey. Secondly, if we talk about the tier 2 consulting companies, their total comp would vary between 25 to 27 lakhs per annum, while their fixed component is going to be in the range of 22 to 25 lakhs per annum. Consults usually don't have a huge variable component. Now, why is there a difference between the fixed component and the variable component, right? Firstly, of course, there is a small amount of variable component which can be in the range of 20 to 30%. But there's also a big component in the first year, which is the joining bonus. A lot of these consulting companies would give you 3 to 5 lakhs worth of joining bonus, which is something that you get only in year 1. And then I think if you continue working for about 1 or 2 years, you get to keep that amount. But if you resign in that period, then you have to return back that joining amount as well. So that's why their total comp gets a little bit inflated. So let's move on. The second one I want to share about is what are the salaries in the finance field. Let's start with investment banking and PE kind of companies where the bonus component, the variable component is quite high. Okay, so again, within IB and PE as well, I want to clarify that different roles will have slightly different packages. And for example, an M&A role in investment bank is going to be having a very high variable component. Whereas if there are market roles, then the variable component is going to be slightly low, while the fixed is sort of at par. Another interesting thing about finance companies in the investment banking P space is that they quote their base packages. Consulting companies would quote their CTC or the total cost to company, while the finance companies they quote the base price. On top of that, you usually get like a 70 to 100% bonus easily. Of course, that numbers varies based on how the company performed, but the bulge bracket banks would give you a bonus in that range. Talking about some of the specific numbers, if I talk about the tier 1 investment banks or Ps, which is the likes of, say, for instance, JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, etc., their fixed component is easily in the range of 40 to 50 lakhs per annum. And on top of that, they have a variable of 70 to 100%, right? So their total comp goes up to about 70 to 80 lakhs per annum, which is quite a lot for, and I'm talking only about the Indian markets, by the way, so it's quite a lot for domestic markets. And then if we talk about some of the tier 2 companies, which are like Credit Suisse or Ambit, etc., they have a fixed component in the range of 25 to 30 lakhs per annum. And bonus is slightly higher than consulting companies, but much lesser than the bulge bracket investment banks. So that the total comp can go up to 35 to 50 lakhs per annum. Then, of course, there are other finance companies as well, such as corporate finance or retail banks coming in for their sales or operations kind of loans. Over there, the salaries are of course much lower compared to investment banks or private equity or venture capital firms. Now over here, the fixed comp would probably be in the range of 22 to 25 lakhs per annum. Depending on the company, there may or may not be a variable component to it. Not just depending on the company, but also depending on the function, right? For example, a sales role would always have like a bonus or a variable component attached, while an operations role may or may not. So that's about finance. Then if we move to marketing and sales companies, on an average, again, there are a variety of roles within marketing and sales, right? Within marketing itself, there could be marketing strategy, there could be market research, there could be actual marketing, for example, in an FMCG. Now, the average fixed component would be in the range of 22 to 25 lakhs per annum. Sales roles usually have a performance-based variable as well. And marketing and sales otherwise would probably also have a variable component, but this variable component is even lesser than the consulting company. So it can be in the range of 10 to 15% only. It's not the case for sales because sales ka comp varies quite a bit from one company to another. There are different kind of variable models that different companies would have. Then let's move to product management, which is on the tech side of things. And this, as we know, is quite a sought after field these days. So product management companies pay quite well these days because a lot of focus is on tech these days, right? Especially if it's obviously product management for tech companies. And who is a product manager? I mean, this guy also needs to have a lot of expertise. They need to understand the business side of things, but they also at the same time need to understand the customer needs. They need to understand some nitty-gritties of the product design and product life cycle as well. So skill requirement bhi काफी end-to-end and ज़्यादा ही है इस field में. The salary, the fixed component, is going to be in the range of about 23 to 25 lakhs per annum. And if you include bonus, again, bonus is slightly lesser than consulting companies. It's going to be in the range of 25 to 27 lakhs per annum. Okay, so with that, let's move to number 5, which is operations related roles. Now, these could be roles in supply chain or inventory or even IT operations, etc. And typically, ops ki salaries jo hai, they are slightly lower than marketing and sales, etc. Similar to HR, right? Functions like HR, operations, they are not really revenue generating front end. Like marketing and sales, you are actually generating revenue. In consulting, you are actually talking to a client and generating revenue. Same for finance. But since operations, HR, these are not really revenue generating in a sense. They are more like cost centers. The salaries over here are slightly lower, and variable component really depends from company to company. Some companies might have, but I won't be surprised if there's a company which doesn't have a variable component at all. But anyway, so ops salaries are slightly lower, and they would typically be in the range of 22 to 23 lakhs per annum. Then if we move to general management / project management kind of roles, these are general management roles, and over here the salaries are going to be varying depending on what level the company is hiring you at. Especially if you go in school like ISB, right? There are people with 3 years of experience getting into some of the GM roles, and then there are people with 10 years of experience going into GM roles. The level you go into is obviously going to be different, and the salaries are going to be quite different as well. But if I have to give you an idea, 3-4 years of experience में तुम किस तरह के level में जाओगे? GM also includes, by the way, the leadership programs that are offered by companies like GE or an Aditya Birla Group, etc. But anyway, the fixed salary would generally be in the range of 25 lakhs per annum. Bonus component include hota hai. It depends on which function you are again, but slightly lower than consulting companies. So again, I would say about 10 to 15% range. Then if we move to some of the other tech roles, because these days quite a few tech roles are coming into the business schools as well. So over here, what I mean is roles of project management or program management, say for instance, or even a business analyst. How much would they earn? Now, tech companies are usually paying quite good these days because there's a lot of focus and interest over there. These are all funded as well, especially if these are big tech companies like, Oracle or Adobe, Microsoft, banks, Facebook, Google, Amazon as well. Their salary in the normal tech roles is going to be easily in the range of 23 to 25 lakhs per annum. It could be higher as well for a company like Google or Microsoft. It could, if you go into some of the higher levels, it could be as high as 30, 35, even 40 lakhs. Lastly, I wanted to cover human resources. Now, human resources, except for a few colleges, they don't do specific HR kind of roles. Most of the business schools would have some 1 or 2 HR roles coming in as well. And again, like I was mentioning for operations, HR is not supposed to be a revenue generating unit, so the salaries are slightly lower. And over here, the salary is mostly going to be in the range of 20 to 22 lakhs per annum. So I think with that, I've covered most of the broad categories of hiring recruitment that takes place, and hopefully this gives you a benchmark and an idea what to expect, and accordingly you can plan yourself. I know I do get a lot of questions on whether going for an MBA is going to be worth it from an ROI perspective. Hopefully this gives you some ideas. So say for instance, if you are already at a package of 25 lakhs per annum, then a lot of these salaries may or may not make sense to you after having spent a huge amount in getting an MBA. But if you are at that 8 to 10 lakhs or even 15 lakhs range, then yes, getting an MBA from one of these tier 1 institutes is going to give you a jump. So yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, you know what to do. Please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'm definitely going to answer them. With that, I'm going to end this video. See you soon. Bye.